Think about the biggest question you have about the world right now. Is it how social media affects our attention spans? How clean energy can transform our cities? Or maybe how art reflects history? Standard classes give you the answers, but what if you want to be the one asking the questions? Welcome to AP Capstone. AP Capstone isn't just a class, it's a 2-year framework made of 2 distinct courses, AP Seminar and AP Research. Instead of memorizing facts for a test, you choose what you want to study. So let's break down how it works. Year 1 is AP Seminar, typically taken in your sophomore or junior year. Here, you must learn the QUEST framework: questioning, understanding, evaluating, synthesizing, and teamwork. You won't just look at a topic from one angle, you'll explore it through multiple lenses, including the environmental, economic, political, and ethical lenses. Then, you'll complete a team project, an individual paper, and an end-of-year exam. In AP Seminar, students choose topics that genuinely matter to them. I've had classmates analyze everything from the economic impact of video game design to the cultural significance of modern poetry. It teaches you how to spot bias, build an airtight argument, and speak with confidence. Once you've mastered these skills in Seminar, you move on to the ultimate challenge, which is AP Research. Unlike Seminar, where you look at existing research, in this course you create new knowledge. You spend the entire year writing a 4,000-word academic paper and delivering a presentation with an oral defense. Because you choose the topic, it spans every discipline imaginable. Whether you love STEM, the humanities, sports medicine, or business, your passion fits here. Next, we're going to be discussing frequently asked questions with a former AP Research and Seminar student. So the first question is, how exactly does the AP Capstone diploma look on a college resume, and what does that signal to admissions officers? After speaking to numerous students, as well as my college admissions counselor, I would say that it looks incredibly prestigious because it stands out from other AP classes. Since most students are taking AP classes, especially at Huff, it can help to further differentiate you from them, and it can help further differentiate you from other applicants in your applicant pool when you do decide to apply to college. Also, it signals that you're not just good at standardized testing, but that you have the skills and you understand how to explore beyond college level coursework. You know how to access databases and review peer-reviewed studies in order to extract meaning from that, create an argument, and then also defend it. I noticed when I applied to a lot of colleges that a lot of them had the criteria of intellectual curiosity as well as academic rigor. And so I think that taking AP Capstone or even just AP Seminar shows that you know how to look at college level coursework, interpret it, and make something of that into your own project. Okay, so the second question is, are there any statistics or hard facts about how colleges view AP Capstone students? And what I would say is yes, AP Capstone students have an advantage over those who don't possess the same diploma. And AP Capstone is accepted for credit or higher placement at over 800 colleges worldwide. I would also say that AP Capstone prepares students by giving them critical thinking skills and the ability to collaborate with their peers. And a lot of those skills, many professors say they see underclassmen like freshmen lack going into college, so that would further help prepare you. Also, I would say by taking the AP Capstone route, you are putting yourself in a more prepared pool of applicants that can significantly strengthen your application if you are applying to a more selective school. Okay, so the third question is it true that Capstone helps you once you actually get to college? And if so, how? So for this question, I would say yes, Capstone definitely helps to prepare you for college. When most kids get assigned their first 10 or 15 page paper, they can feel very overwhelmed and like, I've never done this before, what am I doing? But if you've taken AP Research and AP Seminar, you already know how to navigate academic resources, how to read, interpret, and understand peer-reviewed studies, how to cite sources properly, and manage a large project, especially considering you've already written a 4,000-page paper and worked on a year-long project in order to do AP Research. It comes in very, very handy. All in all, I would say taking AP Research and AP Capstone further prepare you for the transition of high school into being a freshman in college, especially if you're doing anything STEM related. Okay, so the fourth question says, be honest, how bad is the workload and what is the reality of the class? So, in my opinion, I would say the most challenging aspect of the class is learning how to completely remove procrastination from your vernacular and then also from your behavior. So, if you are like a well established and like outspoken procrastinator, you're like, yeah, I'm a procrastinator and I know I am, then this class is going to be much more challenging for you because it requires a bunch of self discipline and pacing and taking it week by week in order to manage a super long project. Because even getting a little bit behind can build up, and that's just not ideal when you're trying to do something so large scale. The actual work itself is very fun and engaging, especially because you get to pick the topic. Um, and the work isn't inherently difficult or rigorous. I would say it's definitely the self discipline that comes into play and time management that are the biggest aspects. But I also think that those help to really weld and grow your character more as a student. So, the fifth and final question is, what is the number one piece of advice that you would give a student thinking about signing up? And I would say the number one piece of advice is to do a topic that you genuinely care about and have a lot of passion for. Since you are going to be sticking with this topic for months on end, if it's something that you don't truly love and are eager to learn more about, it's going to be a very grueling process. It's going to feel a lot like a chore. I would say that if you pick a topic that's really like near and dear to your heart and that you're truly curious about, it'll be much easier to explore it. And I think that it's silly to pick a topic just because it sounds smart or you think it's what the teacher wants you to pick. Pick something that you're going to be able to not only like stay in tune with, but also something that you're going to be academically driven to further explore into the greatest depth possible. So, like, if you pick a topic that you're not necessarily super passionate about, there's just a less likelihood that the quality of your research is going to be as good as it would have been if you pick something that you're super, super passionate about and they have equal levels and everything else remains the same, meaning they have equal levels of like existing knowledge and equal time frames, etc. My last piece of advice would be, don't be afraid to challenge yourself and trust the process. So, what is the big takeaway? By earning a score of 3 or higher in AP Seminar and AP Research, as well as taking 4 additional AP exams of your choice, you can earn the AP Capstone Diploma.